Hello everybody, welcome at Duval Union headquarters. This is for our weekly talk. I'm together with Dado Van Peteghem and I'm Ward Hemeryck. We wanted to talk about digital transformation. Usually that's about digital technologies, but you see something completely different in digital transformation.
Yeah, true. Thanks for having me, Ward. I think one of the key insights from the latest months for me is that a lot of organizations are focusing on the customer in this whole digital journey. It's about customer centricity, putting the customers first, customer experience. And I'm a true believer of that. But what I see is that organizations are now typically forgetting about the first thing they should do, which is focusing on their employees. I think if you cannot change the mindset of your employees, if you cannot take them along in this digital journey, you will fail ultimately. So the first step for me is not focusing on the customer. The first step is about involving your employees, the people around you in this whole journey.
Okay. Is there also a second step?
Absolutely. I think the second step in this is making sure that you make that concrete and tangible. And I have 3 ways on how you can involve your employees and how you can bet on this, what I call employee centricity. The first thing I think you should do is create a kind of a manifesto. Typically right now, you see a lot of organizations thinking around how they can make a strategy for this digital age, but it stays within the boardroom or within the work group who is thinking about this digital strategy. And I think what you should do is create a manifesto where you show the vision forward to the rest of the organization to make sure that people are not anxious about the future, but that they are seeing the bright light forward and that they want to be part of that. So that's the first thing. Create a digital manifesto that makes people believe and that they want to be part of.
You're talking paper here, or?
That's a super good question, Ward. I think paper could be a very good format. For me, digital transformation is not about everything digital. I think digital transformation is about putting things digital first. But if the offline variant or the human variant has a bigger impact, you should go for that offline or human variant. And I think in this case, sending a PDF versus giving a small booklet to people could be, in the second case, a better option.
Yeah, it's a huge difference.
Absolutely. So it could be on paper indeed.
Okay, so step 1, manifesto. Step
yes. Step 2 for me is making sure that you involve your employees in the whole way forward. So typically organizations create a strategy, but it's also about a digital agenda and filling it with projects and doing stuff. That's super important. And I think in the doing stuff, you can involve employees to come up with ideas and to recalibrate on the strategy. And one brilliant example for me is Accor Hotels. They have a CEO, and he said, we have a typical board which is filled with typical older people who have a lot of experience, who are creating a lot of value, but they're not born and raised with the digital DNA. So what he did is he created a shadow comics team, which is a group of younger people, boys and girls, who have more of the digital DNA in their veins, and they can also come up with a strategy and also come up with ideas. And the CEO of Accor is both in the old men's club as in the younger men's and girls club. And I think it's a brilliant thing because doing so, he injects both the digital DNA and the experience all together. And I think it's a good way to create a platform at the highest level to make sure that you have all the capabilities at the top management to think about the future.
I think what you see there is that even if not all companies are able to build a second COMEX, what you have to keep in mind is that they gave a lot of mandates to the people.
Yes, absolutely.
They completely give them, you are a shadow board. Even if you're not able to build a shadow board, you maybe should be thinking about making it tangible and really giving the mandate to the people in the company that understand what digital is.
Absolutely, and I fully agree. And I think you could even give a mandate to people who are in their 20s or their 30s. So typically right now, if you have to be a digital manager, you need to be 40 or 50 years old because that's the way it always went. And I think right now you should give mandate indeed to younger people, even at the highest levels.
Okay, so that's 2 down.
Yes, number 3 is about digital maturity and digital IQ within the organization. I think you really need to educate your people, you need to train them. And I think you need to do that in 2 ways. You have the theory, so you have to make sure that people understand artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, what it all means. But at the same time, I also believe that you need to make it very practical. You need to show them examples of what is happening. So for example, if you're working in a shoe company, Nike or Adidas, I think they should show their employees a sensor in a shoe. They should show them how a 3D printer can create a shoe. Because if you show people, they can think how they could implement that within the business and what new ideas might pop up. So I think if you open up their minds from the theory side and from the practical side, you really can involve people to come up with new ideas. So that's the third step, educate them from theory and from practice.
Yeah, we even see in examples in companies that even if you don't find examples in your industry, just showing new innovations, like showing sensors in a completely other industry than your own industry, can motivate people to think about, okay, this is an innovation in shoes, for example, but maybe we can use them in our machines as well. Even the simple fact of showing the drones, showing some apps, motivates people to go on and take it one step further into your
Absolutely. It's about making people believe, and it's about making sure that people have all the ammunition they need to understand this new world, to bet on it together with the rest of the organization. And that's why for me, employees first is so important, because it's the employees as a total group that will do the transformation to the digital age. It's not the board of the organization, it's not a PowerPoint, it's the whole group of people that needs to transform to talk about a real transformation. So I believe with these three practical things that you can bet on employee centricity, and then in the end, the customer will benefit from that.
So after focusing for this long on only our customers, maybe it's time to move on and look also at our workers, our employees, and focus on them. And I think that was really interesting, and maybe see you guys next week. Bye.
Thank you. Ciao.